Admiral Zektar's claws clicked against the obsidian command console as he reviewed the intelligence reports. The third planet in the Sol system had been marked for resource extraction, its primitive inhabitants deemed insignificant by the hegemony's xenobiologists. Carbon-based bipeds with no faster-than-light technology, no energy shields, no plasma weapons. It should have been a simple matter of orbital bombardment followed by strip mining. Sir, his aide, Subcommander Vex, approached with visible confusion. The human settlement on their moon has sent a response to our ultimatum. Zektar's four eyes narrowed. Surrender terms? Not exactly, sir. They said, and I quote, "Come and take it." The Admiral's mandibles clicked in what passed for laughter among his species. Foolish creatures. Begin the bombardment of their lunar installation. Make it visible from their homeworld. Fear will make the remaining populations more compliant. 3 standard hours later, Zektar stood frozen as the tactical display updated. The human lunar base hadn't just survived the bombardment, it had fired back. Primitive kinetic weapons, nothing more than metal slugs accelerated by chemical explosives. But they had punched through his flagship's shields like they were made of vapor. "How is this possible?" he hissed. "Sir, our physics teams are analyzing the data," Vex reported, his voice trembling. "The humans appear to have weaponized their gravity well. They're using their planet's rotation and orbital mechanics to achieve impossible velocities with simple projectiles." Before Zektar could respond, proximity alarms screamed throughout the bridge. On the main display, hundreds of small craft were emerging from the dark side of the planet's moon. They moved erratically, unpredictably, like a swarm of angry insects. "What are those vessels?" Zektar demanded. "Sir, they appear to be mining equipment, construction vehicles, civilian transports. They've been modified with weapons and armor plating." The Admiral watched in growing horror as the makeshift human fleet approached. His ship's targeting systems struggled to lock onto the chaotic formations. These weren't military vessels following standard engagement protocols. They were improvised, desperate, and utterly unpredictable. The first wave of human craft slammed into his outer perimeter ships. Instead of the expected energy weapons, they used crude explosive devices, ramming attacks, and something his sensors couldn't identify until the first hegemony destroyer began venting atmosphere. "Sir, they're using some kind of corrosive agent. It's eating through our hull plating." Zektar's blood ran cold. "What kind of corrosive?" "According to the analysis, it's their waste products, sir. Organic acids. They've weaponized their own bodily excretions." The battle became a nightmare of improvisation against precision. Where hegemony forces expected ordered formations and conventional tactics, humans appeared from every angle with jury-rigged weapons and suicidal determination. They turned asteroids into guided missiles, used their own damaged ships as projectile weapons, and employed tactics that defied every principle of civilized warfare. As his fleet crumbled around him, Zektar received a transmission from the human lunar base. A scarred biped appeared on screen, its face streaked with what appeared to be its own blood. "Admiral," the human said calmly, "you've made a mistake. You assumed we were primitives because we don't have your technology. But we've been fighting wars since before we could walk upright. We've turned every tool we've ever made into a weapon. We've survived ice ages, supervolcanic eruptions, and each other for millennia." The human's lips curved in what Zektar's cultural database identified as a smile, though it looked more like a predator baring its fangs. "You brought a precision instrument to a knife fight. We brought the kitchen sink, the plumbing, and the entire house. Congratulations, Admiral. You've just started a war with a species that considers impossible odds a form of entertainment." The transmission ended as Zektar's flagship's hull began to buckle. In his final moments, he understood the terrible truth: humanity wasn't primitive. They were experienced. And there was nothing more dangerous in the galaxy than experienced survivors who had nothing left to lose. The hegemony's invasion fleet became humanity's first lesson in stellar warfare. It would not be their last.